Well, it's that time again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the interview with Craig Veltri.
Thank you, Megan Pennington, and welcome to the interview. A unique guest tonight with a unique spelling of her name as tribute to the three eyes that she lives by. As a wrestling fan, it sounds similar to Olympic and WWE champion Kurt Angle's three eyes of intensity, integrity, and intelligence. Hers, on the other hand, are of inspiration, introspection, and innovation. Her catalog of singles, including her latest 2023's Breathe the Fire, which we will play at the end of the episode, and collection of covers reveals an artist willing to explore the music that speaks to her in the moment. Reminds me of a certain vagabond. Calling in from San Diego, California, and recording live in Nashville, Tennessee, here she is, Marliii. Marliii, welcome to the interview.
Hi, thank you, Craig.
So, you're out of California now? Are you native to California?
I'm not. I'm actually a New Yorker. So I'm from Long Island
Ah,
and
there it is. So
Long Island, yeah.
when it all you have to know, it's like as soon as they say, "Well, you're from Long Island." So, how long have you been out in California?
It's been 2 years, two and a half perhaps. January of 2023 is when I moved out here.
I listened to them. So obviously, you were living in New York when you released your EP back in 2021, and you had a single before that. I really can't say that your music really has tracked away too much from what your baseline music for. But the last song, "Breathe the Fire," came out in California. Did the environment at all affect the song and the writing thereof?
Yeah, I suppose so. It wasn't necessarily the environment, I think, but more of a mindset shift
Probably.
that
Yeah.
maybe helped from the environment that I was in because I lived in New York for 25 years. And, after that much time of being in the same place, I was almost a little restless. And especially with the pandemic that happened not long before I moved out to California, I definitely wrote Awake and I, my debut EP, as a self-discovery set of songs that really gave me the platform to kind of get into to be in my sad girl era, I guess, especially having made it during COVID. So it's kind of like it has a chill vibe and almost like a lo-fi pop kind of vibe to it because I was in my bedroom when I was recording it, right? And I was editing it from my laptop, DIY, and because of that, it kind of gave its own kind of quirk pop sound is what I've heard as I
Cork
heard it
pop.
compliment. I was like, okay, like it has its quirkiness and it has
Oh,
its
quirk part. I thought you was
yeah,
like pork
quirk.
pop. That
Did you
sounds like
hear
something you put
pork
on a
pop?
barbecue.
I was like, did someone say pork chop? No, quirk pop.
Blame
So
it on the accent, I guess. But
yeah,
but quirk pop. That I mean, I hear quirky and automatically I go to she and him, the Zoe J Chanel project, and so. But I do hear a lot of Lana Del Rey, and I feel like every time I talk to somebody who's a female pop artist, brace yourself for it. Taylor Swift. So that sad girl kind of era, Lana Del Rey came out of the gate with it and never went away from it. Taylor Swift, Lavender and the Tortured Poet Society, she kind of had that. But were those albums on, or was that just what you were feeling, and that's how the soundscape kind of presented itself?
that's a great question. So how I describe Awake and I as well is as a time capsule. So even though I really got into the nitty-gritty of recording, producing, mixing the EP while in lockdown, I had already written these songs for the most part while I was in college, some years before that. And I just never had the chance to actually sit down and refine them and record them and keep going. And while I'll say I definitely listened to Taylor Swift and Lana more at the time of when I was in middle school. Uh, they definitely have had an influence and maybe still do in my creative flow. Like I feel like I take inspiration from a bunch of different artists and bands, and that's one of the three I's, right? So that's one of those three foundations that I have in my own craft and when I'm coaching other artists as well, which is what I've been doing more frequently since moving out to California. There are so many talented artists with a lot of potential, and then there's me who has over 10 years of experience teaching instruments and coaching. So it just it just flowed into place, like, or snapped into place. It just kind of happened. And so now I find myself over 20 dedicated, with 20 dedicated students that are really talented and they're going places and they need that extra hand to keep them accountable and reaching their goals. So
And we'll
it's
talk about your teaching in just a second, but I'd like to go back to the name and the three eyes. If I may be just a little cynical about it as well, there is another artist out there that has two eyes at the end of Marliii. I assume that Marliii with an I is your birth name. Was that just an opportunity to make yourself stand about, or have you always carried yourself with three eyes?
so the three eyes really came out I when I was thinking about my values. And so my birth name is Marley with one I, and so that's originally me. And I had a lot of challenges trying to figure out like an artist moniker of like, oh, should I just like make something that's totally different of my name or like not even include my name? Um, but part of that also felt like I'd be erasing myself. And
Hmm.
so you definitely want to move in a direction that feels natural and like follows your heart and your intuition when you're being a creative. So I wanted to have my name at least somewhere in my artist name. And it's different for everyone. Some people don't want that at all, and that's totally cool too. Though, yeah, when I did notice some SEOs of like, oh, Laura Marling, and Marley is in her name. So if I wrote Marley, just my name, her name, like her artist profile would pop up.
Right.
I've never heard of Marley with two eyes, but maybe I got to get listening. After I made
She's
Marley
all
with
right.
three eyes, after I made Marley Three Eyes, I realized there's a rapper named Yaz Marley Three Eyes. And so, okay, I guess there's no way to ever win here. So, I'm also not too old to start a new project too. So you never know. I'd say just like stay in touch and like keep watching the growth and like, maybe I'll turn into Il Ram someday or something. I don't
Well,
know.
the spelled backwards, got it. So the I think of somebody who comes forth with that kind of moniker, Marley, here on the Craig Veltri interview, a service of Scarfire Media. And for more on Scarfire Media, visit scarfireradio.net, check out the Flame and the Scarfire Media Podcast Network. But I would like to ask, because I think of the three eyes almost as a set of pitches that a pitcher in baseball might have. I've noticed in that sport that if you have more than one pitch, you tend to lean on one. Like you lean on your fastball, you lean on your sweeper or your cutter. Which of those would you say is your fastball? What's the one that you lean on the most?
That's a great question. And I feel like there's a bit more of a subjective aspect to it when I think about it. So it's I would also say I'm not a pro at sports per se, but my understanding is there's strategy that comes with it. So yeah, maybe there's one kind of pitch that you're best at, but you also don't want the opponent or your audience to like always expect that of you. And so that's where you would probably want to change it up, and that's part of the strategy. So when it comes to my own music, I mean, my personality just ebbs and flows every day. Sometimes I wake up just like, ugh. and like this is going to be a tough day, like I'm in pain because I didn't sleep enough or something. And then some days I wake up and it's just all like rainbows and butterflies, perfect day, and things just go my way. And I feel like this is something that happens to everyone. And so my three eyes, the inspiration, introspection, innovation, and sometimes I even play around with what if I like just like swapped introspection with imagination, or like sometimes, or like innovation with impact. Like sometimes I'll do that.
I've heard it in some of your promos that you have interchanged it.
Yeah, I kind of play around with it. But that's also because it's not only for me. So when I have these foundations, there for my goals, and goals change, so it's like every year, or there's like a year-long plan, or maybe there's a 5-year plan, like something more long-term, or a 3-month, like a quick plan. And so but what makes it not only for me is that I use these foundations for my clients. So rather than assuming a goal for my clients, like, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, and I'm going to get you there, I really allow that space for discovery, where I ask my students, I ask my clients, what do you want to do? Like, what is your goal? Like, if you had a magic wand, like, what are you envisioning? Because we can manifest that together. And then we pick three eyes that work for them in achieving their goals. So that's where it's like, rather than Marliii with like 10 eyes, three is enough, right? And so it's like in the brand, that works. You even seem
And in
like
many ways, you
can be
kind of
more
suit.
than, right? But yeah,
And in
so
many ways, it sounds like you suit it for whoever you're working with, whatever the soundscape is
yeah.
coming to you. So it's a fluid thing, as I've said
Yeah,
already.
totally. We're all ever changing.
Exactly. With the music that you have put out right now, I've noticed that a lot of your instrumentation and the instruments that you know are mostly string instruments. Your first instrument, I believe, was guitar. You've
Mhm.
since picked up the uke and the mandolin, which would fit you in very well in Nashville, Tennessee, might I add. But the a lot of the music is more electronic. What does that look like as far as the writing process? How does that translate from an acoustic instrument or even an electric instrument onto what you've been putting out lately?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that's also part of the self-discovery here. So with that, I mainly play string instruments, that's true. And when I'm with my bands, like I'm usually playing the guitar. If I'm not playing the keys, but I'm usually playing guitar and singing.
Oh, so
Though when
you
it
are a keyboard player as well.
Yeah, I do play the keys. So that's where that part of that comes from. It's like MIDI recordings. So, yeah, I teach guitar, piano, and voice, and then songwriting. And then when I'm playing live, or like I'm starting out a new song, like whatever project I'm working on, there are keys involved, some sequencers. I try to get as creative as I can because like I have that freedom as an independent artist, that I can just play around with different ideas. Now, I guess that will keep my fans always on their feet and always on their toes, not ever expecting what's next. But but I have heard some feedback that sometimes fans do want to know what's next. So it's interesting of a perspective, but it's just something I've been rolling with. And if you like it, great. If you don't, okay, cool too, I guess. But it's like good luck either way. It's like I'm just trying to make a positive impact and share fun sounds with the world.
I do want to talk about what tickles your muse, so to speak, later on. But Billy Joel has a great quote about the difference between piano and guitar. It's physics. You know, the piano, it's you're doing this motion. Guitar, it's this motion. It's different. It's a different air. It's different materials, even though technically both are, piano is more of a rhythm instrument, but there are strings inside of a piano, an acoustic one anyway. So my question is, do you find that the physic of playing a guitar compared to a keyboard, do you find that because of that physic, you become a different writer almost?
In a way. So with guitar, modulating is a bit different, or maybe even slightly simpler than on the keys, just because you can expect a whole step to always be two frets and a half step to always be one. So
Or
when you
because it's a wheel, it's a different rotation, basically,
yeah,
as far as
so it's
intervals are
like
concerned.
yeah, so like patterns like scales, for example, or chords are going to be the same shape and use the same fingers. But for the piano, it can actually be a little different too, where like yeah, the whole steps and half step concepts are the same. It's like you, but like I guess you're going from on a whole half step, you could be going from white key to black key, you could be going black key to white key, or you could be going white key to white key, depending on where you are, because there's no black key for every letter of the alphabet on the keys. But then for a whole step, si similarly, well, that's just double the length, right? So if you could be going black key to black key, like F sharp to G sharp, you could be
Yeah.
going white key F to G. But then if you're going from B, you got white key to black key, B to C sharp. So it's just like the shaping feels a little different. Um, yeah.
As with the on guitars for sure as well. And going back to the very beginning, because the your tastes, as I've seen in your covers, go all over the place, all genres, all decades. It's quite impressive, and is similar a lot to the stuff that I do as far as covers are concerned. Where did that come from? Musical family with a huge record collection, parents musical. Describe your first exposure to music.
Thank you. And yeah, you're on the right track. So my dad plays guitar, and so he was playing for like a decade and a half or maybe 2 decades by the time I was a little child. And he, for Christmas one year, he restrung like a first act beginner acoustic guitar, and he restrung it because I'm lefty, and he just showed me, he showed me Jimi Hendrix, Paul McCartney, and like all these different, and I'm just mentioning them because they're also lefty, like Kurt Cobain as well, but then also a whole range of artists and bands. And so there was a big record collection, and I started
And it is
learning.
a right-handed person's world. Everything's kind of, it's the dominant hand. It's the one thing that everybody goes to. So do you remember the first guitar you had? Was it one of the ones that was just a plain old one that didn't have a cutaway? Because I know you'd use one now.
Yeah, no, it was just like a very simple first act guitar, and to like ask how specifically I remember it could be a little bit of a stretch, having been like 6 or 7 years old. Like I don't even remember how old I was, but it was like
Really?
where like for second grade, like that's how young I was.
Hmm.
Um, but I remember the first act was my first guitar acoustic strung backward, and probably used as well. And then my second guitar was a Squire Stratocaster. I
Mine
haven't gotten
too.
to it yet, but yeah, that's pretty standard for a first electric guitar. I've gone through quite a few guitars though, or like I've
Like you
collected
do. Yeah. So,
times. Right?
but yeah, so back to your father. I think you said was stringing up the instrumentation for you. How did it go? How did it go from there? I mean, I guess you were in music education all the way through. You mentioned you went to college. What did that look like? Where'd you go?
I went to Hofstra University in New York. It's on Long Island. It's uh it's just before getting to Queens. So just outside of the city, and I majored in music and public relations, and it was really cool. I met a lot of people from all walks of life, and the music program there is growing. So it was a smaller program when I first started there, and it expanded to having like a full-on music business program. I learned a lot there.
What's
I
the
also was
one thing that you learned there that you're still using today?
probably my my audio engineering skills. Even though I haven't dropped songs publicly in a little bit, I know it's been like 2 years already. I've been really working on building the arsenal of unreleased songs and demos to have as examples for my students, or like to be able to pitch for sync ops and to have ready for labels as well as independent artists who are looking for songwriters for them, and they already want that foundation of the song that they want to use. So I'm really just more behind the scenes nowadays, though I definitely learned quite a bit of production over there, which has been really good because that saves me a lot of money and time.
When agreed, and that's something that I'm looking into myself as well. We're here with Marliii on the Craig Veltri interview on the Scarfire Media Podcast Network.
Hey, what's going on out there, Radioland? Megan Pennington coming to you with an extremely amazing announcement. I am nominated for a Grassy Award, yes, thanks to 97.7, the rock station, Shady Lady Productions, and all good things independent music. I am up for a Grassy Award for my song, Believe Me. I am so thrilled to be able to say that out loud. I just released the song this year, and it has already taken leaps and bounds as it goes along the way, and it's all thanks to you. So if you wouldn't mind going to butlerradio.com, find the Grassy Awards nominations tab, and vote for Megan Pennington with my song, Believe Me. I will be forever grateful. That song in particular is a really special one to me because I was doing a whole lot of living and traveling when I wrote it, and I'm not doing that living and traveling anymore, but I love to be able to visit the moment where everything felt right for a whole 5 minutes. And I want to feel that way with you guys. So please, give me a vote. Butlerradio.com. Believe me, Megan Pennington up for a Grassy Award. And if you guys help me win this one, we can all hang out at the band jam together while I take my award and we hang out in celebration. So in the meantime, between time, folks, after you give that vote, stay healthy, stay safe, and most importantly, peace and love. Thank you for your help.
As far as the music that you are planning on releasing, it is worth noting that the last song that you released was in 2023. How soon can we expect new music out of Marliii?
That's a great question. So you can definitely,
You're going full poker face on this one right now.
yeah, I'm like, there's not exactly a date, but I'd say if you're looking for live music, that's going to be a lot sooner than if you're looking for a full album. Though let's see if we can hold me accountable. It's a full album by 2030. So there's a little bit of a wait there, but I'm hoping for earlier than that.
Well, you say you've gone behind the scenes. You've mentioned a couple of times about clients, students, stuff like that. What is your company? What do you do those kind of projects under?
Yeah, so I am filed as an LLC as MWM Media, and so that stands for Mundo with Marliii, Music with Marliii, however you want to go about with it. Mundo means
Mundo with Marliii? What does that mean?
world in Spanish.
Um, I I took French to my to my deep regret of education, but continue.
Yeah, a lot less people know Spanish than I realized, but it's okay because
In
that
this country, it's so advantageous, especially with a lot of the jobs that are offered in this country. And again, a lot of the reason why I wish I learned Spanish. Not too late for me, but anyways,
yeah, it's not too late, right? And that's also why I decided to keep that in my brand. It's just like there's a world of opportunities and different things you can learn. Yeah, like I have a focus in music, but I can go beyond that as well. Whether I'm helping planning events or like doing a marketing project or doing like voiceovers, just like I can do a bunch of random things. So I was just like, there's a world of possibilities for everyone. So Mundo. And so I love to help manifest that for my clients. And Yeah, so, but you can also look at it as music with Marliii. I have an email address for both, funnily enough. And and so my brand, so I am a coach and consultant. My main coaching program is a 3-month long songwriting program that helps beginner songwriters turn their unfinished ideas, voice memos, lyric scraps into a fully written cohesive EP. Having made an EP myself in the past, I understand the different aspects that go into it, and I have been supporting artists with their journey and preparing that themselves independently, but with a helping hand. And so then my other programs, I am a one-on-one teacher for voice, piano, and guitar. So those are the main coaching aspects. And then as a consultant, I book shows for a music studio out in San Diego. So they have about a 10 rock band rotation that I've been scheduling shows for. Our next one is at the House of Blues this upcoming Sunday. Not sure if the podcast is going to be out in time to know
I
that,
should
but
have mentioned this in pre-production, and usually when we get to the promotion part of the show is actually going to be airing on this coming Friday. So,
oh,
so
just in time. So
proceed.
yeah, so you might hear it on time. You might be late, but that would be for evergreen like concept or idea. The next show I have from when we're talking right now is July 13th, House of Blues for my students that are involved with the studio. And then and that studio is called Allegro Music Studio. Super awesome place. 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. 100 out of 10, you know what I mean? I definitely recommend that space if you are in the San Diego Chula Vista area. It's a great place to enroll your kids out. It's a K through 12, kind of like a School of Rock, but a local family business, and provides leadership experience for your kids as well as collaboration, teamwork, and excelling in the instrument of focus. So super cool. And then my own show, I'll might as well mention it because there will be time for that. That's going to be July 26th.
Wow.
At the you don't want me to say the place, huh?
Oh, not
You're
at
about to
all,
tell.
not at all. But I we
I'm talking
I
too
do
much.
I do have I do. You did bring up that there is part of the show that we do a lot of promo and stuff. I do want to
Okay.
have you save that for last because I
Okay.
do want to know what I've been hearing out of you and just reading all that. You're very much a forward thinker, and you mentioned 2030 is probably when we're going to hear the next full length record. We're obviously going to hear stuff in the interim as well. If you think that far ahead and your music is tastes are that eclectic, is it this might be the most loaded question I've ever asked a subject before, but can you look that far ahead and have at least a general idea of maybe what the music's going to sound like and what the music's going to be about?
Ideally, the album will be out before then. I was just being
You
extremely
were being facetious. You were giving yourself a runway. Okay.
yeah, because really my priority right now is helping other artists that I don't really get the time to support myself in my own ventures. So when I am writing music, I'll write a whole song in an hour or two and get my demo recording in, and then it's there. Now, when I make an album, I definitely want a full concept to it, but
Hmm.
that story is still unraveling for myself. It's kind of like I I say 2030 just to give me enough time to be in my 30s when this happens. I know that's geriatric for artists. I think Taylor Swift said that once.
Madam,
And
I'm at the end of my 30s. How dare you?
hey, I'm not the one that said it. Taylor Swift said it first about herself.
Oh,
And so
heavens.
but anyway, I'm not there yet. So I don't feel like I have enough life experience to tell my story yet, which is like a super someone could look at me and say, like you said, you're a forward thinker. So you probably know this already, you have it planned out. And then there are artists like Taylor Swift who has her next 10 albums planned out already. That's forward thinking. But I feel like
Well, Taylor Swift is genius is the accurate term, not human is the colloquial
Yeah,
term. But
yeah.
but in your case, you say that as somebody who has written a concept record myself, mine was autobiographical. Is this going to be an autobiographical one, or is it something a little bit more, just for simpler terms, more in the realm of fiction?
That's a great question. It's definitely going to be more autobiographical. I
Autobiographical. It's a good
autobio
drunk word.
so onomatopoeia, autobiographical. And so it's definitely going to be that life lessons and background, but I also want to write it in a way that feels relatable and also interpretable to the listener's background as well. So it's like I want to be very strategic in how I write it, but I do also, when it comes to instrumentation, I know I'm going to include more of my Latin roots. I'm going to use some zampoña and some kalimba, maybe like the different percussion instruments, maybe as well as a few other instruments. I'm thinking of like the charango, which is a 10-string instrument. I just need to get another one because it's like a small wooden instrument. And when I lived in a very like humid, like unstable airy area, I've said that more than once because it sounds funny. It like kind of like, when you don't take care of the wood as much, like it just kind of cracked. And so I need to get another
Oh
one.
yeah.
I got to go back to Peru and find one on another journey. But yeah, so I'm gonna have more of my own Latin roots. I know that for sure. I want to share more of that and more live instrument recording. Even like playing the piano. I want to like record the actual piano and not have it feel like, oh, it has that MIDI kind of sound unless it is
Mm-hmm.
like a synth or something that like or like a sequencer kind of like has more of that electronic feel. But I really love Radiohead, and Radiohead has been able to do like a mix of the electronic with the rock. So think of me as kind of like doing a mix of like the electronic with the pop, with the rock, with the like just a sprinkle of this and a sprinkle of that all into a pot. That's me.
I think I might already know the answer to this question, and then we'll move on to the questionnaire. Are you more of a waiter or a writer? Do you consider yourself somebody that is in the studio constantly burning the midnight oil, or are you somebody that waits for it to happen? It just kind of comes in and it flows through.
I'm definitely not the waiter, at least not for writing, because I will aside at least a minimum once a week. I'll be like, this is my writing time. And so I'll write a full song from scratch. So that's something that I have a really good flow with. But then when it comes to like the whole aspect after the recording and the production, like, oh, does this sound good enough? I'm going into loops now and like of like thinking about, is my art finished? And like it's so subjective. We have to know and admit that art is never finished until you finally say it is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where I have a little trouble because I'm like, what if? And then I think about, I don't want to market this all myself. Like I kind of want to just keep it in my vault. And so something I've been thinking of doing is like launching a Patreon where I can just put all these ideas that are like full demos written, but it's more like those final aspects that maybe aren't yet, or like piecing them together to form something beyond what it already is, and so that I can get my fans and audiences thoughts on it as well and excitement, so that I do have that confidence to finally drop that album that's probably already done and just kind of in that vault and needs to be
Well,
all
we
put
have a
together.
nice way of closing here on the Craig Veltri interview. It's called the No Kidding Questionnaire. A couple of rapid fire questions. First thing that comes to your mind, whenever you're ready, and away we go. Childhood celebrity crush.
I wasn't a child for a long time. Who was honestly, I think it was like Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. That's a child. That's a celebrity.
Second person in a week that's gone the animated route about this one. What was it about? What made you want to catch Ash?
Catch and Ash. That's so funny. Well, honestly, I was more of a fan of like the whole Pokemon brand, but yeah, and I just and to be like I guess extra cringe, I'm not gonna lie. Like I thought of a character from Digimon, which is like the off-brand of Pokemon and it's not even worth talking about anymore, but like I don't know the name of that character, so I just switched to Ash. I was like, that's a close second.
That was near the end of almost middle school for me, and there were still some folks playing the card game and on the Game Boy of it. Who was your favorite Pokemon?
Okay, so I have a tattoo of Jigglypuff, which you can see, but I don't know if so.
Uh, we can see it, yes.
That's Jigglypuff. But but
So we know who you're playing as on Smash Brothers. Got it. So
yeah, I mean, I have other characters too. I'm never always the same one on there, and that's probably why I'm always losing.
yeah, I I'm more of the Mario. Give me Mario Kart and I'll smash that. Smash Brothers I eventually get ganged up on it and away I go. But moving on with the questionnaire, what was your favorite subject in school? Yes, it can be music.
Yeah, I'll be basic. It was music, but I also loved visual art. And then I was told I can only do one, and I was like, well, that is really sad
Who
because
told you that?
the teachers, they were like, you have to do math, you have to do science, but you have to pick between music and art. There's not enough time in the world for both.
It's like MTV never existed. Oh my goodness. Uh, well, what occupation? You do so much already, but what occupation other than your own would you like to attempt?
Which occupation would I like to attempt other than my own? This is random, but paleontology. I want to dig up some dinosaurs up in like South Dakota. It's like this is going to be a project that it's after when I get my trailer and RV, like, while I'm on tour, because I'll finally have the means to do a whole national tour with that. And so in my boony stop, I guess we'll call it that, because there's not many people there. It's like North Dakota, South Dakota. I'm pretty sure that's where like people are doing the excavations. Just gonna strategically plan like, okay, I'm playing some random bar. Maybe there will only be 10 people, but that's gonna be like totally fine because that's the state anyway. And then also the next day, I'm gonna be digging up some dinosaurs, maybe for like a week, who knows. But there is a program where you can do that. It's like a public program.
Do you that I had not known that, but do you keep any fossils around like uh I don't know, cockroaches or prehistoric insects like caught in rocks or stuff like that?
Oh, like the Pokemon, like is it like Kabuto and the
Yeah, natural capture basically.
yeah. Oh, well, I don't have a Pokemon either here. They have the plushies like the Squishmallows in the other room, but for fossils, I think I have like a few shark teeth that were just like kind of at the beach. I myself have not gone fossil digging yet, so I can't say I have fossils in my house. That also sounds very expensive, but I have some shark teeth.
I mean, I've been to the San Diego Zoo, so I think I don't think they have any fossils like that, but I'm sure the museum structure within that city would definitely have some readily available for sale. On the other side of the coin, what job, I don't care how many bags of money are handed to you, Marliii, would you never want to attempt?
Ask that question again. It went out in one ear, out the other. Sorry.
Now you know why I'm single. What job would you never want to attempt?
Oh, what job? Yeah, no wonder that went in and out the ears. Because if it's something I'm not interested in, I'm not paying attention, and it's a job I don't want to do.
Mhm.
But there are a few jobs I wouldn't want to do. I guess waste management sounds like one.
That's a popular one.
Yeah, because that could mean a lot of things, and I don't
But
want to.
even then, that does involve digging.
Yeah, like bodies, maybe. Or Sopranos out here.
Yes, you are from New York.
Sopranos.
Well, I mean, usually people who, some people I would think that would say one of the benefits is that, hey, somebody throws a perfectly good couch on the side of the street, get it cleaned up, and you can repurpose it. Uh,
Yeah, that's happened with guitars left and right too.
I met somebody who found his breed glove in the garbage, and to the person who threw that in the garbage, you are a garbage person. You talked about going out to South Dakota when you retire, or when the big national tour happens. What is your go-to food on a road trip?
Oh, you're gonna judge me. You've already been giving me the loaded questions and just like I'm your guinea pig for the hard, difficult questions I'm seeing. But like this one, you're gonna judge me because I'm vegan and
Not at all.
everyone. Okay, that's good. That's good. I have gotten some judgment, but I also like am almost 30 and look like 10 years younger, so it kind of helps. But
I'm not
being that
vegan. What's my excuse? What? So what vegan options do you go for?
you're looking great, Craig, but I go for anything that's like a mock meat, which is kind of funny. But it's like you can make
By
something
the
like
way, mock meat. Name my next punk band. Continue.
I love that. I'll be streaming you guys, like listening in. So just let me know. Maybe I'll join the band. I feel like if you need like a singer, guitarist, bassist, keys, I mean for pop punk, I don't know, but like whatever, like I'm here for it. Uh, so
I
you heard
love
it
it.
here first, y'all. We're forming a mock meat band. My favorite food is just like I love anything that I loved before I was vegan, there's a vegan version of it for the most part, except for some fish things. But even so, there's like vegan tuna that I'll like put on a salad and like I'll put my favorite dressings on it. Like there's vegan blue cheese and like vegan wings. And so there's a vegan version of most things nowadays. If you asked me that 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh, well, like all I can eat is like falafel and veggie burgers. But now there's something for everyone, which is really good.
I've always been kind of I've had the Impossible Burger, which was fine, and I eat wings on the road like crazy. I'm trying to cut back on carbs and stuff like that, and I heard of vegan wings. I've seen vegan wings on Hot Ones as another option for some celebrities, and it, just that alone, vegan chicken. How do you differentiate that since you've had it?
So like, are you asking how I differentiate like different
Or
kinds?
what is the difference, at least as far as structures and what's in the vegan chicken?
So it depends on like the brand if you're like going for a pre-made thing, but if you are making it on your own, the interesting thing is that you're using what's called vital wheat gluten to extract the starch out of it. So it's like a type of wheat. It's gluten, so if you're gluten free, stay away at all costs. But
Mm-hmm.
it's packed with protein because you're just taking out the starch, like squeezing it out, and so that you're left with just the protein, and then you like put in the oven, like put like the stuff you want on it, and then you put it in the oven, and then you have this mock meat that's called Satan. And people are like, is that Satan? Vegans are the devil. That's what like my grandparents would say. And then I'm like, no, no, it's like Satan. And it's
It
Seitan.
As a longtime fan of the Pittsburgh Penguins, I do recall a player by the name of Satan as well. So yeah, different pronunciation of it. You mentioned you make the, or at least you know how to make that stuff. Do you have a favorite vegan delicacy that you like to make yourself?
Oh, I love making food. I cook most of the time, which is how I save money and it's how I'm not a starving artist. I'm just an artist. Uh, Maybe it's because I also, instead of paying for my songs to be released, I'm coaching, and so it's like there's a revenue stream for me. But everyone finds the way that works for them to if they want to really be self-employed. Like if there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely.
Um, so when it comes to cooking, so I love pastas. I know carb central, but I love it. I have this book that has like maybe a few hundred different vegan recipes as well. So it's like I like to try new things from there. And so then I also love to make I love making vegan omelets. I'll use what's called just egg and I'll just
Hmm.
like pour it and it turns into like an egg. I put black salt on it. It smells like an egg. And then I'll put my favorite veggies and lately I've been putting it on matzah, but I also put it on a wrap sometimes or I have it with rice. My main thing is like if it has a protein, a vegetable, ideally more than one vegetable, but as long as my meal has a protein, a vegetable, and a starch, like something hearty, then I'm good.
Well, now that I am famished at the moment, if you could have dinner with anybody, probably over what you have just described, dead or alive, who would it be?
Hmm. I would have dinner with God. And I feel like people probably are like, I always have dinner with God. But like, I mean, like where I physically
In the
see
South,
God
definitely. But
and
you
hear
said
him like he's at the table like or maybe she like I really don't know if God has a gender, for example, and like don't like that might be getting people heated, but like I just need to know like exactly like a form and there might not even be a form, and so I might just be having dinner where it like looks like I'm just like talking to myself, and then that might actually be it, but I just need to know. I
I've
need to know.
had somebody say Jesus on this program before, and you know, I would like to know for sure myself as well, but at the same time, maybe in the human realm, who would you want to have dinner with?
That's a good question. Hmm. I I feel like there's so many people to pick from. Though I'm thinking I feel like it would be really cool to have dinner with Ella Fitzgerald.
Oh, she's wonderful. I love her music.
Yeah, she's a gem.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite Ella song?
so I love her rendition of Lullaby of Birdland. That's what I
Hmm.
always hear when you sigh. Never in my wordland could
Hmm.
there be ways to reveal in a phrase how I feel. So I love that one. What else I love? I love It's a Barnum and Bailey world, just as phony as it can be. But it wouldn't be make believe if you believed in me. What is that song called? I had to sing it because the first one I knew the name and I was just going for it, but the
I
second one I forgot the name.
I don't recall. Comment in the
Yeah, right.
section below if you know the name of that song, and you will win salad bar. On th- I can't. You seem a pretty genial person, so this might take a second. But what is your biggest pet peeve?
So this won't take as long as you're saying or thinking, but my biggest pet peeve is like when I'm walking and like someone is too close to where I'm walking and they step on my shoe and then like my sock falls out of the shoe. Has that ever happened to you or is that just like a me thing?
um, I wear cowboy boots, so that usually the sock doesn't fall out of it. Like
Noted.
like somebody like get catches you from the heel and stuff like that. That happened a lot to me in high school. So and before that. So yeah, I think I know what you mean.
That's why
Um,
you switched to cowboy boots because people kept like stepping on your like your heel and then your foot would fall out and you're like, never again, cowboy boots it is. Or is
it
that just a
wasn't
me?
it wasn't as as direct a line as you've drawn there, but I look at a lot of the footwear that I have right now. It doesn't have lace. They don't have laces. They tend to make me taller. These are the pranks that used to get pulled on me when I was a kid. So yeah, there might be something to that. So yes.
Customize your footwear? And like I'm taking notes low key, like, okay, like customize my wardrobe so that my pet peeves never happen again. Here.
I'll say this about cowboy boots. They make you taller. You don't have to tie them. They go with every kind of wear, including formal wear. I will. When I got married, I actually wore cowboy boots with my tuxedo. And they and my boots have lasted longer than my marriage. So there you go.
Congrats.
So
And that also reminds me, another reason why I have that album release date kind of like over there, like kind of farther, is because I'm getting married next year. And the plan,
congratulations.
it's a lot of planning. So I'm like, it's just a lot of pressure to be like, yeah, album like 6 months or next year when it's like my main goal, my main focus, right? And goal is to work as a consultant and a coach, right? So it's like there's already a lot going on. And yeah, and I'm so excited for this wedding. It's gonna be so beautiful. It's in San Diego as well.
Do you have a date?
62626.
That's wonderful. Congratulations for real. Best of luck on that.
Thank you.
Last question of the questionnaire. Usually, what is the best advice that anyone has ever given you?
The best advice that anyone's ever given me. So, my life totally changed when my mindset changed. So, any advice on mindset shifts, going from pessimistic to optimistic, not letting the bad keep you down. If anything, looking for the good and holding on to that, having hope and calling in your future. So that manifestation magic of like, I want it, I got it. And now I'm just quoting Ariana Grande and like, but like she gave good advice when she's like, I want it, I got it, right? Like if you can
New hair.
be
Gee,
in
thanks.
your
Just fine.
goal, right? Yeah, if you are confident and you're showing up and you're putting in the work, it's gonna happen. So that's like the best thing that I've heard. It's just overall, not just the Ariana quote, but just from multiple people. I feel like that was just like signs of okay, like learn to love yourself if you don't already. So love yourself and call in the best for yourself. And once you have that, then you can best support other people too. So having that good balance.
It's a good mindset to definitely take into your classroom, which brings me to the bonus question on the questionnaire. To anybody who is a teacher, and as this episode, I will announce that this is going to be called the Lonnie Billard Memorial Question in honor of my late teacher, Lonnie Billard, who appeared on this program last year. The question is as follows. Um, not the most common, not the best advice you've ever given a student, rather, but what is the most common advice that you have given a student?
So the most common advice that I've given a student is that you should find inspiration in what is keeping you going, like understanding why you're here, even if it's starting out as my parents made me come here, but like understanding that why and like what you like, what do you enjoy, what sparks joy in your life that we can reference to make your experience the best that it can be. And that goes with music or it goes with the aspects around music like communication and growth and exploration, creativity. So it can be beyond music, right? But if it's a music lesson, we're gonna try to rope it back into music and understand that. Um, so that's part of it. The introspection after that. So understanding now you know what sparks joy and why you're here, your why, your reason, and your goals. Now it's introspecting to really understand with those goals, like what are we doing to improve? Like where are there soft spots that we need to strengthen? And also, what are your strengths? So it's like understanding strengths versus maybe weaknesses, or maybe it's just stuff that aren't as strong about you that you want to work on. And so that you can improve yourself as a person, as a creative, musician, songwriter, etc. And then innovation, because once you have all this information about you, you've done your self-discovery. Now how are you innovating as you improve on your skills? Like what is the next step? So always keeping like this full circle going. So that's the advice I give is to like find that path for yourself and keep it moving, keep following your dreams and turning them into reality.
Find that why for sure is something that that definitely keeps me coming back to why I love doing my music so much. And I thank you for reminding me and putting that message out here on this podcast. Well, there's one more thing you got to do here, Marliii, and it is the part of the show that every guest should love the most. It is time for shameless self promotion. Your record is coming out at some point within the next decade, but in the meantime, in between time, where can we find you and all the things you do? Fire away.
So I am on all social media platforms. So Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. I'm Mundo with Marliii. Mundo is spelled Mundo with, you should know how to spell that. And then Marliii is Marliii. And then you can also find me on Spotify, Apple Music, all music streaming platforms as Marliii. And same as YouTube, where else? SoundCloud, all of them. You could Google Marliii or pronounce Marley, but you can Google my name and I'll show up. And then as for where we left off with
Yes.
shows, feel free to remove if it was too long
Oh
for
no, this is live tape, my dear.
post-production,
But
right? Yeah, I trust that you'll make it cohesive and not scattered. But the next show that I have three shows this month, but by the time that listeners are
right
getting
now,
to,
this is a reminder, actually. But so you have the one on June 13th, July 13th, you mentioned.
well, that's the one I planned for my students. So the
Oh,
showcase,
okay.
right? So my
Never
own
mind.
yeah, but yeah, thank you for the reminder. So if you are in San Diego and you have a child or teen, but you have a kid who wants to learn music, or you know someone with kids that want to thrive in their music journey, these shows are really good places for you to see the bands in action that we manage at the school. So Allegro Music Studio. If you look that up, we have our events page with our upcoming shows and the next one on July 13th at House of Blues. And then my own showcase that I'm headlining with where I'll be performing over an hour of original music and classic rock covers is at the Lucky Irish Beer Garden on July 26th, the last Saturday of the month. It is also an after party of Comic Con. So if you're dripped up in your cosplay swag, cool. I'll give you a compliment on stage. I'll be like, shout out, you're looking fly.
And if you show up as Jigglypuff, the wedding's off. But anyway, Marliii, I gotta say, as far as Breathe the Fire is concerned, you successfully did something that was incredibly soothing, but at the same time made me able to run through a wall. So congratulations on that alone, but congratulations on all the things that you're doing in your life in the moment. And thank you so much for joining me today on the Craig Veltri interview.
Thanks so much, Craig. It's been great hanging out with you.
The Craig Veltri interview, where Craig Veltri interviews wonderful people, is a production of Scarfire Media, the voice of the independent arts. Written and edited by Craig Veltri. Your announcer is Megan Pennington. The opening theme, Shut Up, I Love You, written by Trenton Chandler and Craig Veltri, performed by Craig Veltri, produced by Jack Gavin. The Off the Row sessions, the 4 singles that I released that were recorded at the Off the Row Studios in Franklin, Tennessee, under the production of P.T. Houston, is available now on all streaming. And as ever, the Letters to the Defendant limited edition vinyl LP is available. Just send $35 to my Venmo at Craig-Veltri, Zelle, CraigVeltri@gmail.com, or to my Cash App, $Craig Veltri. Time now to update the event calendar because you must know where I am at all times. And keep your head on straight, folks, because even I'm having trouble keeping track of myself this week. Friday, July the 11th, I will be on the Grand Strand in Myrtle Beach, Sea Captain's House from 5 to 8 p.m. Saturday, July the 12th, all the way back to Memphis, Tennessee, to the Mississippi Riverbanks, to Tin Roof, Memphis, Beale Street from 3 to 6:30 p.m. Then back to Middle Tennessee, Monday the 14th, the Writers Round at the Parlor of Leapers Fork, hosted by Bobby Ray. I will be going on at 6:30. Then downtown Nashville, Tuesday the 15th, Big Jimmy's on 2nd Avenue from 6 to 9 p.m. And on Thursday the 16th, all the way back to the Grand Strand once again, Tin Roof Myrtle Beach from 6 to 9 p.m. I would like to also announce that on July the 26th, myself and our announcer and sorceress of Scarfire, Megan Pennington, and myself will be playing together, not for the first time, but for the first time officially under the name Moonshine Vagabonds. We have announced it on several social media platforms and other platforms than our own, but here you hear it here first on the Craig Veltri interview. Moonshine Vagabonds, myself and Megan Pennington will be playing our first official show at 565 Live in Bellevue. That's 565 Lincoln Avenue in Bellevue, Pennsylvania from 7 to 10 p.m. Megan and I will be performing songs from the Moonshine Jasmine catalog, as well as the Craig Veltri catalog, and maybe even some songs from the Megan Pennington catalog all the way, way back. And we are looking forward, as most of all, to be performing the songs that will appear on Moonshine Vagabond's debut release, to be entitled Inside the Cabin. So July 26th, once again, live at 565 Live in Bellevue, Pennsylvania, 7 to 10 p.m. Saturday, July 26th. Bring your family, bring your friends, bring a stranger for all we care. We'd love to see you at 565 Live on July 26th. For full dates, go to craigveltri.bandzoogle.com. For booking info, including full band and this podcast, email me at craigveltriofficial@gmail.com. You can find the interview on Facebook by searching the Craig Veltri interview, YouTube at Craig Veltri Music, TikTok at Craig Veltri, and you can find me on Instagram, or as my old roommate, the Tommy Thomas, used to call it, Instagirl, at Craig.Veltri. With special thanks to Danny Belt. For Marliii, I'm Craig Veltri, and this has been the Craig Veltri interview. With that, I'll pass. Here's the latest from Marliii. Here's Breathe the Fire on the Craig Veltri interview, a proud member of the Scarfire Media Podcast Network.
When you walk on your own, find a lonely place to call home. It's a cruel, cold world, or so we've been told. Take the heat that's been brewing from your soul, like it's all you've ever known. But you could take the words and make them your own. So stand tall, move far, then free fall. Everlasting, break the walls that are keeping you from what it's like to breathe the fire. I'm dragging myself to this stage while leaving out all the pain that's led me to this place. Bleed out cloudy days, rain will fade away all the shame. Let's crumble all the ashes. We'll make the air disintegrate, the hate so it'll vanish. So work hard, can't stop us, run faster every day, 'cause that's the way we'll gather all the flames to burn and breathe the fire. I'm dragging myself off the stage while leaving out all the pain that's led me to this place. Bleed out cloudy days, rain will fade away. Bleed out cloudy days, rain will fade away. Bleed out cloudy days, rain will fade away. Stand tall, can't stop us, run faster, free fall, everlasting, break those walls, nothing's in your way now, we can breathe the fire, we're dragging ourselves through this while leaving.